way. Now, I mentioned off-page SEO. A couple things that you can do here is leverage things like this actually should be on-page SEO, it looks like. Leverage multimedia, put videos on your site, product pages for each of your services, products, cities. Make sure every page has unique content, keywords in the main title of the page, and your H1 or your heading tags. I apologize, it says off page, but this is on page SEO. A description that sells the click. So one thing that you can do is go to Google, and we'll use NACAs here again as an example. One thing you can do is go to Google and type in site : and then your domain name, no spaces, site : your domain name. What that does is say, hey, Google, what do you know about this particular website, or how does this website show up in the Google index? And this is a great tool because now you can see my site title, what it is. Does this match what I'm trying to rank for? In this case, Maui window treatments is probably their #1 search term. So it makes sense that that is the title for their page. And then this is the description, which is typically about 2 sentences. And it matches, typically it matches the title in some way, but expounds on it a little bit, adds in some other keywords that they also want to rank for. So this is a typical kind of setup for a website. Now, if yours says home or welcome to NACA's Drapery, that's not the best use of that, right? Because you're not sending signals to Google that we want to rank for these particular searches. Jody says, we have one location, brick and mortar. Would adding cities in our keywords benefit or hurt us? One location, brick and mortar, absolutely would help you. I don't see why you would not do that in those areas. And then typically you start to expand further and further away from that area. As you start to rank locally, you add more cities that are a little bit further out, but you still service and kind of build it out that way. Another tool that we use is called Bright Local. And this is a pretty cool tool. It gives you some really cool map. Let's look at NACAs here. Gives you some really cool maps that you can start to watch locally to see where you're ranking for, or what keywords you're ranking for, where you show up in the map, things like that. But check this out. This is called the local search grid, and I haven't run this tool in a while. But if you do a search on Maui for the word drapery in any of these areas, you can see where you show up in the rankings. So most of those are #1s, right? Which is fantastic, exactly what you want to happen. Window treatments, you see it like this. Now, one thing that we would do here is we say, well, it looks like we need to create some content for whatever this area is called. Maybe it's the Afang Village. We need to create some content for that area to get us up into the first 3 spots here, right? Window coverings, same kind of thing. So this could also be like a non-affluent part of their target, and they don't want to rank there. That could also be the case, you know. But Bright Local is pretty cool because it lets you continue to expand. So this is currently 1 mile between each of these dots. So in this case, our next function or task here would be to change this to 2 miles and then see where we rank when it comes to some of these fringe areas around here. Wouldn't surprise me if they turned orange out there, and then we just started creating content again for those areas if we wanted to rank there as well. All right, let me see here. I want to make sure I get everybody's question. My area is several small cities, complicated. No, typically you would choose one city to rank for as like the overarching for the website. You know, the big city is the one that you want to rank for locally. And then you start creating smaller sub pages, or like we do with NACA's service area pages for each of those smaller cities. And then you would do that in order by how affluent they are, Do you want to get business there? Right. There's some areas that you might not want to get business, or maybe they're really industrial areas that you don't see any reason to rank for. And then you just prioritize them and start building content for those in that order. Jeff says, suppose you optimize for window treatments near me and are in St. Louis. Someone in New York types window treatments near me. Do we potentially show up? No, you wouldn't, because Google understands the words near me. And in most cases, you're doing that on your phone and Google knows where you're at. And even when you're doing a search like that on Google on a desktop, in most cases, you're probably logged in and they know your location. So you would probably never show up for something like that. Do we potentially show up, or does Google know that near me means near whatever city the searcher is in? Yes, they're assuming you're logged in, and in most cases, people are logged in to some sort of Google platform that Google knows where you're at. Same is also true for things like Siri, Alexa, those types of services also know the physical location of that device, and when you do a search like that. What are the main factors to get into the 3-pack? So I do go into this training in much more detail in my, let me just show you guys where that's at real quick. WTMarketingpros.com/training. If you go here and look at the, which one is it? Local and on-page SEO is a really big one. And then managing your online reputation. This is the one where I go into a lot more in depth on the 3-pack, what's involved in getting ranked in there and what things you should do. The easiest way to answer the question, Jeff, is the amount of reviews that you have, the physical location, how close you are to the city or whatever they happen to be searching for. Those are the two biggest things. And then, is your website optimized? When somebody comes to your website, do they have a good experience? Is the bounce rate low? Is the content good? Those sorts of things. Those are the three biggest things that influence the 3-pack or the 3-pack of results. Obviously, you want name, address, phone number always to be the same. Put that in the footer of your website. Blogging, so constantly writing content. I just did some training on content, how to write more content, how to come up with ideas, things like that. So again, the idea is here, every time somebody comes to your website, it's growing bigger and better as time goes on. Another thing that's very important, this is just an example of our one of our clients, is calls to action. Make sure that they're obvious. There's obvious next steps when somebody comes to your website. In this case, a bright orange button that says schedule appointment, probably what they want me to do. But there are a lot of other things that you could do in here as well. Jody said, what is your recommendation for the frequency of blogging? Definitely check out the training on content. The thing with blogging is you don't want to bite off more than you can chew. You're busy running a business and you're going to get busier at times, right? There's a difference. There's an ebb and a flow of how busy you are. So what you really want to do is teach Google that you have a consistent blog approach. So if you think that you could write one piece of content a month, then do that, right? If you think you can do 2 a month, that's awesome. Do 2 a month. If you think you can do 4, that's fine. The problem with doing more is you don't want to do 4, you don't want to do a blog every week for 3 months and then stop, and go back to once a month or something like that, because Google's starting to learn how often content is going to be created, that kind of stuff. So it's better to start slow and ramp up, so right, once a month it is. Yeah. For our clients, depending on what level they're at, we may post 1 a week. And we just, we write content depending on whatever topic they need to rank for. But if you're trying to do this on your own, just don't bite off too much, I think, is the big thing. Now, one other thing that can happen, as time goes on, is you can rank in the 3-pack and rank in the first organic result. Now, in this case, they got a bonus result because they had their main page is about St. Louis and optimized specifically for St. Louis. And then they have a page, a product page specifically around custom draperies. So when you do a search for St. Louis draperies, they have 3 potential opportunities for eyeballs here. And the other thing that's really cool about this second result in the organic is that means we pushed one of their competitors off of the page 1 of Google. So that's really nice. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, you're really starting to dominate these types of searches. So some things that you can do on other websites to influence your ranking: definitely claim and optimize your Google business listing, now called Google Business Profile. You can do that at google.com/business. If you haven't claimed your business, drop everything. As soon as I'm done today, go claim your business. But wait till I'm done, but very important, high priority. Get lots of citations. So mentions of your business around the web. And again, I go into this in that training, but the easy ones are a link from your Facebook profile, Yelp, Houzz, Better Business Bureau, Chamber of Commerce, all these different sites that list businesses. You should get those. And the more you get, the better off you are. We do have a citation building service specifically for this as well. Build online reviews and leverage best-in-class tools like Lead Boomerang. So Lead Boomerang is a tool that we've built specifically for window treatment and awning companies to request more reviews, get more reviews back, those sorts of things, with some really cool ways of doing that through texting the client, dropping a voicemail on their phone, a lot of different really cool things. But getting those reviews are huge. Build authoritative links back to your site from other websites. Sounds really easy, is not really easy, but will definitely improve your overall rankings.